this, I'll put the screwdriver down in there and just twist that way and then twist that way. You notice that I have my hand right there over that whenever I pulled that out. Whenever you drive your pin in, your punch in, it's going to replace the pin that you just drove out. Whenever you remove your punch, that is under a little bit of spring pressure, and that will come out. That'll hit your hand, not a big deal. See this right here? When you look down in here, you're going to be able to see that pin. It is right down in there. And what we're going to do is just pry it out of there. This one's been pretty hard to get out of there. What you want to make sure that you don't do is whenever you're trying to pry that pin out, you want to make sure that you don't put too much pressure on this back side or any of these parts in here. And so if you look down in there, there's a little piece of a wire spring down in there. Just lots of stuff. And so what I'm doing is I'm torquing on it, and I was wiggling the hammer a little bit to get that to work its way out. Just remember to be patient on stuff like this. Slowly coming out. And maybe some of you guys that are watching this may think I'm a complete idiot because I'm not doing it the easiest way that's possible. And if in fact I am being a complete idiot and I am not doing this the fastest way possible, please send me a message and let me know. I guarantee that a lot of you guys know more than I do. Now, I've got that popped out. That little piece comes right out. And the whole hammer assembly should slide up and out now. That's your trigger bar there. If that comes up like that and it won't go down, just pull your trigger and it'll slide that forward and let it go down, just so you know. And there it is. Like I say, I've not pulled one of these apart this far. Right there, the wire I was talking about, that was actually the retainer that had to be defeated before I could push that out. That little piece of wire fit right down, there we go, in the detent there. Hammer goes over that right there, down inside of there. There's really no reason to tear this down any farther. Everything can be cleaned from here. I'm going to choose to leave the trigger bar and everything in here. This is not necessary to come out any farther to do the FrogLube. Let's see if I can get you guys a good look down inside of there. This pin is at an angle. It's like that, an angle there, and back. I may have to go over to a little bit more solid bench. Now we're starting to get it. There we go. Just want to be careful where that's going. What I'm doing is moving the extractor a little bit to keep it from getting bound up in there. There's a happy medium there. I don't really want to knock it all the way out. I'd like to keep it in there. I think we've got it far enough there. Maybe not yet. Oh, we're going to need a little bit longer punch. See if we can go with this Torx driver. Almost there. Little bit at a time. If I had this on a better bench, wouldn't be as big of a problem, but I want to have it over here where I can try and film this for you guys. But it is being counterproductive. Well, I just knocked it all the way through, that's fine. And what I'm doing is I'm actually holding that extractor with these fingers on the other side. And by holding that in there, and it helps relieve some of that pressure. Because again, like what we said, it is under spring tension. Alright, and there's your spring. There we go. Just down there, get your firing pin out. There we go. It was just bound up in there a little bit. That just goes to show you, you never want to force things. You never want to force them. Got a little spring in there. And we're stripped. And now we'll go back together. Down in the very back here. See if I can get a good. Down in there you're going to see a circle. Yeah, there you go. That is where this has got to go into. And then the other two legs of this housing are going to go on either side of it down the same place. Not sure how good you're picking this up, but hope you got the idea. Everything's going to go right down in the spring hole, your main spring hole. Trigger bar is going to be up. It's going to hook right under there. And then we're just going to twist it and push it down. When you get it to that point, because you need it to go down with it, pull your trigger a little bit to get it to the seat down in there. And then you just want to let it fall right down in its spot. Squeeze it, pull the trigger, let it all rock forward, and then it'll just clip right down in there. Did you hear the click? You'll hear that audible click as it goes into spot there. We'll turn it upside down here. Always want to check your pins, make sure that you haven't pushed them through too far on the other side. And sometimes you can use a hammer as a precision tool as well. It's like if I go and I try and push that pin over just a minute amount, by the time that I come up with enough force to overcome that, it's going to push it right on through. But I can take this hammer and barely tap it and just start slowly increasing the amount of force I'm putting on it until it starts to move. You can move it just a little bit at a time. Now, I definitely recommend at this point in time, make sure that your hammer has spring tension on it. Make sure that your trigger bar is moving. Make sure, depending on if you got a single action, double action, whatever, but make sure that everything seems to be working just fine. You don't want to dry fire it, but hold your thumb over it and let it come back to its brake. Make sure that you've got it operational. On this, it just goes, instead of sliding up, just put it right in its place, squeeze. Let this, it'll be angling forward. Notice I am not using a brass hammer here, but a lot of times I'll use the plastic side of it. This is a dead blow, and I'm being very delicate. Like right here, I'll use the side of it. It's plastic. I'm pretty sure that in the earlier part of this video series I disassembled the slide, but at this point in time I don't remember if I did a video of me reassembling it. If any of you all need to see the slide go back together, please send me a message and I'll get you a video out as quickly as possible of the slide going back together, or I'll see if I can help you through your problem. I don't have time to knock the pin out and put it back together right now, but I just wanted to go ahead and do this. I've already actually FrogLubed and finished this gun, test fired it, but I didn't have time at the time to videotape this thing coming apart or going back together, so I wanted to do that now, just so I could finish up the video for you guys and have it all finished up. So now the way this barrel will go in, if you've got any questions, the part that you see whenever it is in battery, you're sitting there, that'll go down if your slide's upside down. With your helix right there. Unit would go down like that. And that will lock right into place. Don't just put it on there and not rack it. Make sure that you take it, rack it a few times, go ahead, dry fire it, make sure that everything is in order. Put your magazine in, make sure all the functions work, and that is the Beretta PX4 Storm. Double action only trigger and 40 caliber. Got a little bit of marring on this one, this particular one, but all in all the gun's in good shape. Runs much better now that it's been FrogLubed. Quite snappy though. Of course it's 40 cal, but it is snappy. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see anything else, please subscribe. Beretta PX4 Storm 40 cal. Beretta PX4 Storm. Need to work on the sights just a little bit. Shooting a little bit to the right, and hold on this gun seems to be that it shoots just a little bit high, just me getting used to it. Trigger control is all to hell there. This is that long double action trigger. It's double action only, and not really used to that in this type of pistol, and so I was jerking it and just not really shooting well. First shots I've shot today at all, actually in maybe a couple of weeks. So that was terribly lousy shooting, but either way, enough excuses. The gun feels real good. It is a 40 cal, so it's got, you know, a little bit of snap to it, being that it's a 40 cal. For any of you all that are not real familiar with Beretta, it has a unique system to it, to where instead of most of your polymer pistols, if you will watch the barrel here, see how it looks a little funny if you're used to seeing a Glock or a Smith & Wesson or an M&P. Whenever it first goes to unlock, it rotates. It will rotate ever so slightly, and what that allows is it rotates and then lets the slide go right over the top of it. Most of your guns, that drops down a little bit and then slides over. But if you watch the barrel here, the barrel doesn't drop. The angle of it never changes. Now there's a lot to be said for that. A lot of people say this is a better design. You lose a lot of recoil where that barrel turns. With the other style, you lose a lot of recoil whenever that barrel drops, coming out of the lockup. People, you know, they argue one way or the other. I don't prefer the Berettas myself. It's a nice gun, nice shooting gun, nothing wrong with it. I like my M&Ps. And then I guess the second would be Glock. But either way, that's the Beretta PX4 Storm. I'm sure that you have seen or will be seeing the teardown and reassembly on this gun. We just did the FrogLube on it. Just wanted to run a couple rounds through it, and customers should get it back. And now it's got the FrogLube on it, doesn't have to worry about any maintenance on it for at least a year. Thank you.